What is up, guys? It is AJ from MMA Experts. I am being joined by my man Mike Finch. We're going to talk about UFC 269. How you doing, bro?
I can't complain, brother. Out here in Southern California, it's December. It's a good time to be in Southern California. Life is good, my friend. How are you, AJ?
Life's good, bro. Just coming back from a little run, feeling like $1 million. Excited to hear your take on this card. I've been looking forward to this show all week long, so I'm pumped. I'm pumped, and I think the people are excited too.
Gotta love this card, dude. Come on, top to bottom, good card. Main event is gonna be a freaking all-out war. They're gonna throw the kitchen sink at each other. Can't wait to break these ones down, bro. I've been looking forward to it all week.
Let's go. Let's go. Guys, smash that like button if you're tuning in, new to the channel. Subscribe, turn those post notifications on. And we're going to talk about the first fight of the night. Gillian Robertson, Priscila Cachoeira. Mike, I want to hear your take on this women's matchup. I kind of think I know where you're going to go with it, though.
Is that right? Look, Gillian, she has decent takedowns. She knows how to use her feet to get out of trouble on the feet, which I think is going to be really important in this fight. So as long as she's nice and mobile around Priscila, I think she should be able to execute pretty well. If she can get on top of her a couple times in this fight, I think that'll be good enough for a decision. If you guys remember when Shevchenko got on top of Priscila, this girl is tough as nails, but I don't think she's ready for somebody who's good in the top position. So I'm thinking Gillian Robertson just plays a good MMA game, plays it safe, gets a couple of takedowns, and, sort of stays out of a dogfight in this fight. The more she can make it like a sparring match, move around, touch her a couple times, take her down, I think she just dominates the decision in this one, AJ.
Yeah, dude, honestly, exactly what I was thinking. I knew you were going to say this, bro. I had a feeling. Because you look at this matchup, it's like, how else does it go? There is a clear path to victory for Gillian Robertson. Cachoeira's best shot is going to be catching Robertson as she comes inside. Some quick hands on Cachoeira with the hooks at times, but like her wrestling defense, you got strikers taking her down. When you get a girl like Robertson who's pretty effective with her offensive wrestling, I see her dominating, grinding win. I can see clinch work against the cage. Unanimous decision. I'm going to jump on two. I got to pull up the odds, of course. We got to see what these lines are sitting at. Minus 360, plus 325. The bet there's ugly if you're going to play it straight.
I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. I would
not.
stay away from it because, look, when Robertson dives on legs, if you guys saw her last fight, she even like pulls half guard sometimes to come up in on the legs. For MMA, that puts you in some dangerous spots. I'm not touching this one personally.
No touch, man. I'm going to skip the bet here. But we got Robertson both, and I think there's high likelihood she comes through. But at the price tag, not trying to parlay it up and that be the shafter of the parlay. We'll stay from it. That is the first pick. That's the first pick right there of the night. We got agreement. We got good agreement.
We agree because we disagreed on a lot last week, brother.
We did.
Jose Aldo came through, brother. Dude, I had to talk some shit.
You have to.
Clay Guida even came through, brother.
Dude, Clay Guida looked like a fucking man. And Chris Curtis. Let's talk about Chris Curtis for just a second, bro. That was the one. I was shocked, bro. But I was like, okay, Chris Curtis is a savage, and we just didn't know about him yet. And that was realistically how it goes, man. He's a monster.
You don't take a fight on short notice unless you think you got a good shot to get in there and make it happen, man. Curtis is the man. Good for him, dude. Big win for him. Now he's becoming a name. Now he's becoming somebody fans want to see. Exciting fighter, too, man. Who can't love that type of fight?
I honestly think Chris Curtis, super intrigued by him. I'm really excited for his future. I mean, the run he's on right now, excitement. But we got to keep on moving up, bro. We'll talk
go ahead.
Last week all day. We had some wild action. But this fight right here, I think, is going to continue with that wild action. It's Randy Costa versus Tony Kelley. This fight has me, like, super interested, man, because Randy Costa striking, even in loss to Yanez, mad impressive. Great straight punches. He's known for crazy dexterity. He's thrown up, like, 6 kicks in a row to start fights off. But Tony Kelley isn't a bad fighter in his own right. Kickboxing game is decent. Wrestling, okay, but one thing I do like with Kelley is offensive grappling attacks. When he's on the floor, he's going to look for submissions. If I'm Costa, I'm keeping it on the feet. I think the range could be the factor here. I'm leaning Randy Costa wins by a decision, but I'm also thinking potential stoppage. What do you think about this one, Mike?
Dude, you know, Costa is very accurate when he throws power punches. If you look at the straight right hand he puts down the pipe, guys just can't get out of the way from it. And I think that style difference, it might make, you know, all the difference. I think that he's going to get to the target. He's going to get to Kelley. Kelley is just a little behind when it comes to speed, doesn't quite throw as direct, doesn't quite throw as fast or as accurate. I think this could be target practice for Randy Costa. I'm going to pick him by knockout.
I like it. I like it. I was torn on the which way it's going. I like hearing that you're on the knockout. You're giving me more confidence in him winning by stoppage too.
I think he's going to let his hands go in this fight, man. He has to. Like you touched on, Kelley's best chance is making this an MMA fight. For Costa, let your hands go, man. If he lets his hands go on Saturday, I think he'll get that stoppage.
Yeah, agreed, man. Honestly, odds for this fight are not terrible, not really great either, but you're getting decent money if you're playing Costa. Minus 170, plus 155. I like Randy Costa a lot here. What do you think about the bet at minus 170? Like, what do you feel
Not
about
bad.
that?
Not bad. Intriguing for sure. I'm going to have a couple ones that I'm more confident in on this card since I've already gone through the card top to bottom, kind of been able to weigh them together. I'm more confident in Costa. I really like the matchup for him. It makes sense. Is Kelley a good enough grappler to dominate him there? I don't know. I think he's better. Will it be enough? I don't think so, man. I would be tempted to touch this one. I'd be tempted to throw it in a parlay. I'm not putting my big money line bet on this one, though. I would hold off to the main card. We got a couple more that I'm just speaking for myself that I'm more confident in.
Okay. Well, I like your take on that one. And honestly, there's not a ton of plus money on the props either. If you want to play Costa wins by knockout, you're getting minus 110. So the lines are kind of set up expecting him to win by a stoppage here. So that one, maybe a money line bet, not liking the prop, some potential for sure. We both are on Costa for the win. I like that we got some similar picks, 2 for 2, man. Let's keep on running, man. Next fight of the night, Ryan Hall versus Darrick Minner. Mike, I'll give you the microphone on this one. What do you think?
Ryan Hall's got a lot to prove, guys. Look, he's you know, he really did not perform to the best of his ability in his last fight. Ryan Hall, I have a bias for, dude. If you look at my MMA fights, I strike with people just to get him to engage a little bit so I could take him down and F him up on the ground. That's exactly what Ryan Hall does. He even pulls guard. He'll even do an Imanari roll like he did against BJ Penn. I mean, Ryan Hall just likes to suck you into jiu-jitsu and make you play his game. With that being said, there is a clear pathway to beating Ryan Hall. We've already seen it. It's the disengage. It's the stay the F away from me type game. You keep the guy off you. You move around. You make him play a real mixed martial arts fight instead of diving into his world. And you give him a lot of problems. And you know me, I always look at these without the odds, but I had to peek at the odds just so at least I had it. And looking at him coming in as the favorite, as Hall coming in as the favorite, I like Minner in this fight, dude. I think Minner can, you know, at least keep it a little bit at range, use his dynamic striking to mix it up and keep Hall off balance. And every time Hall wants to flop on his butt, back up, make it a ugly fight. The more the fans are booing, the better it is for Minner. I'm going to pick him by decision.
Wow, you just went with Minner. I'm a little bit surprised there, man. But I think it's not a terrible pick. Looking at the game plan to beat Hall, how does he win fights? Is by submission or grinding decision with awkward grappling. Minner's known for being a good grappler too. I like how explosive he is early, but I don't like that he fades late. I feel like Hall can essentially play the game. I don't think Minner hits necessarily with insane power. Obviously, if he touches your chin, he's going to hurt you. But Poirier is a real proven knockout artist. He slept Hall. I don't see Minner having the abilities to do the same. I feel like even if the first round, Minner is able to fend off the attack, have some moments of his own, potentially starts getting tired towards end of the second, maybe Hall would lock something up there. I'm liking somewhere inside of the distance, Ryan Hall by submission. That's what I'm feeling on this one. And I feel like it's one of those fights, though. Ryan Hall, as you said, he's got something to prove after looking terrible against Poirier, regardless of losing. It's the fact that his whole game was diving for the legs in a Mari roll. He pulls guard, and he's not getting anybody on top of him. And the moment it gets to the floor, Poirier bashes his face in. I would be nervous betting this one, but I like Ryan Hall. I really do. And I'm a fan of Ryan Hall, a little biased maybe towards that, but I feel like stylistically, he's a good fight for Minner.
Exactly. And I think Minner has enough jiu-jitsu to keep Hall off of him. With that being said, Hall plays a game that other people don't, which is he understands leg locks at another level. So Hall understands that John Danaher Death Squad leg locks where you get into positions called like honey hole. Everybody at home is like, what the hell is a honey hole? I'm telling you guys, there are these new inventions of leg lock positions that MMA fighters just have not seen enough yet. Ryan Hall is one of the guys who is showing us some of these spots because he's ballsy enough to get down there and jump on legs. Guys, we've seen what happens when you just go leg locks and you get pinned in a bad spot. Your head is on the canvas or something. Somebody could give you a good knuckle sandwich and it could be over. It's a risky thing to do, but I think we'll see it more and more in the future. Do I think we see it Saturday night? I don't. I got to stick with Minner.
I like it. I like the confidence in him. I'm on the opposite side, but I do respect your dog pick too, because it's nice plus money. If you are on the Minner side, you're getting plus 180 for Ryan Hall, minus 195. You thinking about
I like
dog
that,
play
dude. My wallet's already fidgeting, bro. I like that.
I like it, bro. I like your confidence there. Hall by submission is plus money, plus 150, but we've seen him win decisions before. If his grappling doesn't get going, I would be nervous. Maybe a live bet on this one. You wait till you see what happens in the first round to get an idea how this fight's going to go and play it down. I'm on Hall. I don't like minus 200, though. I don't. And Minner has a shot as a dog. I'm curious how the fight starts because I feel like Minner might win the early exchanges, and then maybe the lines could even shift regardless of how the outcome goes. So interesting fight for sure.
Absolutely, man. No, I like the live idea. Listen, I just think that there's such a blueprint to beat Hall now that Minner's going to walk right down that road, man. If he's smart, if he plays it smart, like you said, he lacks the power, which is why I'm going to go decision.
Yeah, I like that. And honestly, I'd be impressed to see it. I like that your take is that because it gets people maybe off the Hall is going to blast this guy mindset. Like there's a chance that he doesn't go out there and beat a guy as well-rounded as Minner. Necessarily the only weakness, gas tank. But I'm less concerned in this fight. So interesting one. Very interesting.
Definitely, man. Last bit on this one. Look, I break MMA down into 3 parts, okay? Who's better at striking? Who's better at wrestling? Can you stop a takedown? Can you take somebody down when you need to? Who's better on the floor? Ryan Hall has 1 of the 3. I think Minner has 2 of the 3. If Minner can out-wrestle him and out-strike him, he's got it.
Yeah, I think there is a clear path there. I like that pick. I like the dog pick, man. I like it. Let's keep on running.
With the dogs, bro. I come with the dogs.
I love it, bro. I love it. Now, next fight of the night, Alex Perez versus Matt Schnell. I'm intrigued by this matchup. Matt Schnell striking is pretty decent with his kickboxing. I know he's got a little bit of a wrestling base in there, not necessarily super offensive with it when you see him, at the higher levels of the game. On the opposite side, Alex Perez, I like his kickboxing a lot. I think his wrestling holds up well with Matt Schnell's. The low kicks of Alex Perez intrigue me. And I feel like he's got to attack the long legs of Schnell. Schnell's a pretty thin guy, even at 125. He's like a lanky dude. I feel like you chop those low kicks, slow the movement. We might be looking at an Alex Perez TKO, and we know Schnell sometimes is down for a banger. What do you think about this fight, Mike?
You hit the nail on the head there. Schnell's down for a banger, and Perez is not the guy to bang with. Perez has good power, and better yet, the dude is a born finisher. The way he slaps on Darce chokes is, it makes Tony Ferguson cry. It is beautiful, brother. Beautiful blend between the striking, getting somebody hurt, and then finding a way to finish him. I like Perez in this fight. I think Perez is very explosive, maybe has a little bit of an edge on the feet, and him being such a finisher who lets his hands go. Look, Schnell is a finisher too, absolutely, but I don't like how he keeps his head on the center line when he throws. Perez doesn't. I like Perez on the ground with the Darce chokes in this one. I think Perez hurts him, slaps on a submission, gets an epic finish, and that this is one of the more fun fights of the night.
I like it, man. I do see a finish here. What do you think about Schnell? I don't know if you noticed this tendency. He looks left, right, left, and then he attacks. It's a consistent thing I see with him every fight.
Yes. Well, okay. So I've been honored and lucky to train under Rafael Cordeiro a little bit. And Rafael Cordeiro has taught Anderson Silva and many other fighters these types of techniques where the idea is to distract and then attack, right? So one thing to do would be to look away and then come back with a right hand, right? One thing, like he taught Fabricio Verdum this. If you guys remember, Fabricio Verdum fought Mark Hunt. Mark Hunt, K1 champion, world-class striker. How is Fabricio Verdum, this jiu-jitsu black belt, going to strike with Mark Hunt? Well, he had Rafael Cordeiro as a coach. What did they do? They looked at the legs. They literally reached for his legs and then jumped up and did a flying knee. So Mark Hunt did a level change, boom, ate that flying knee. It's a little bit of diversion, right? Schnell could definitely use a little bit of help with his so he could land a little more often. But I agree. I see the exact same thing. Classic Brazilian Muay Thai. And you'll see Anderson Silva do the same shit. That's it's high fight IQ type stuff. To be able to land like that, very high fight IQ type stuff. It shows he's able to think in that cage.
Yeah, that's true. No, I just sometimes feel like comparing him like to Silva, like I feel like Silva does it like a good gap better. Like if Schnell could perfect these little technical moves, he could really sway the opponent with his deception more. Because sometimes I feel like he does it from out of range, which is just something, a weird note. I was curious your take on that. So that's interesting. It comes from a good place. It's just maybe he needs to continually, get more perfected at it.
Huntington Beach is ready for you, Schnell. Kings MMA, let's go.
The odds for that one are ugly, bro. You're not going to like to hear them. -310 Perez, +270 for Schnell. I feel like you're on submission here or inside the distance. If you were going to bet, what side you like inside the distance more for Perez, +180?
I like that. Because you know what? Perez could get it done with the hands too, man. He's just one of those guys where he'll hurt you and then he's thinking submission. So even if you think Perez is going to outbox him, which is likely, I think, and Perez hurts him, he's going to freaking guillotine him or darce him or something, so then it'll end up being a submission. So he's like Oliveira in that sense.
He'll knock you down and tap you out, man. Love that style.
He's good at it.
Dude, Perez, I think, is going to work him here. And I'm glad that we're both on it, man. I didn't know if maybe you'd come through with a Schnell. You knew something I didn't know about him. And you're going to be like, no, I got Schnell, man.
I don't. I gotta go with Perez. I'm pretty confident too. I like the way he's moving, man. I think he's going to run up this division and be in the top couple real soon. I'm impressed by what I see.
Yeah, I mean, I was impressed even in his loss to Figueiredo. I mean, he went out there and fought Figueiredo, who at the time looked unbeatable. So, forgivable defeat, exciting comeback fight. Next one, Erin, Blanchfield, Miranda, Maverick. What do you think, man?
Dude, one of the hardest fights to call on this card, for real. As soon as I heard the matchup, I was like, Maverick's, she's a better MMA fighter. She's against this this girl who has some decent jiu-jitsu, some decent striking, but I don't know. And then the more I dug into it, I was looking at Blanchfield's pass grappling. If you guys actually, please check this out. Please do this. YouTube her name and maybe fourth or fifth video down is her submitting a man. She was competing as a teenager. I should call him a boy. A teenager. They're like both 17 or something. And they're doing like a Naga tournament, and she gets somebody her weight who's a guy, rear naked chokes him. Yeah, the dude was not happy. So I like that background for her, knowing that she's so confident on the ground. And then I'm thinking like, all right, well, what's her striking matchup going to look like against Maverick? Because Maverick's been in there with some really good girls. We've seen Maverick, a little more reps in the UFC. Sure enough, she trains with Tiger Schulman Muay Thai. Tiger Schulman, that's a Shane Burgos. A lot of good strikers come out of there. So now I'm seeing all that, and I'm starting to lean for Erin. I'll actually give a shout out too. I trained a guy who bets quite often, Kevin El Basri. I was training him today. I told him I had Maverick. He's like, "Are you sure?" And I'm thinking like, damn, am I sure? I don't know, man. So I'll tell you what, I'm on the fence like Humpty Dumpty. I'm staying the hell away from this fight. I was going to go Maverick. I think I might go on the other side. AJ, what do you think?
All right. So on this one here, I got to say, you talked about something interesting, right? The striking, the wrestling, the pure grappling on the floor, right? On the floor, technically speaking, Blanchfield is superior to Maverick. But in the wrestling department, I give Maverick the edge. Also in the striking department. Another factor I give in favor of her is athleticism. The way that Blanchfield strikes, more plodding, slower style. This is like, I don't want to disrespect her with this comparison. I'm not trying to shit on the comparison I'm going to use, but Chris Grutzmacher, excuse me, not Gutierrez, Grutzmacher. The way he comes forward, chin tucked, he's throwing these shots with not a ton behind it, but a lot of pressure is what I feel from Blanchfield. You kind of see a similar-esh style of striking. I think Maverick circles away quicker with the hands. Kicks will be coming low. I feel like wrestling, Blanchfield will try to get a hold of her. Strength edge, Maverick. I'm leaning Maverick wins by a decision on this one. But the jiu-jitsu of Blanchfield is a factor. Black belt, 22 years old.
Yeah, and been doing it a long time. Again, I'm sympathetic to it because that's how I came up. I came up when I was a 13-year-old kid, just going to every freaking grappling tournament I could. It seems like Erin's had a similar path, so I like that, man. When we get pushed to the wall and it's hands down, what's going to happen? We're trying to find your neck. We're trying to find your arm. We're trying to finish the fight. That's the type of fighter she is. She's dangerous. Just to make it fun for everybody, I'll go on the other side. I'm sure you can tell, though, my wallet's staying in my pocket on this one.
I respect it, though, man. At the end of the day, you got some voices telling you, Blanchfield, maybe it's a sign from, the universe or whatever the hell you believe in, man.
AJ, I'm not superstitious, bro. I'm not.
Okay.
You can't get me with that universe talking. Nope, not superstitious. I'm betting with this, and that's the only thing that's going to help me out. Because if I bet with this, I'd be all over the place, bro.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, man. 100%. All right, let's keep on running up this card. André Muniz, Eryk Anders, super exciting fight for me. On the side of Muniz, the grappling, jiu-jitsu-wise, phenomenal. I feel like this guy might have the best jiu-jitsu in the UFC middleweight division. Maybe in the UFC. Right now, he doesn't have the name value yet to earn that respect. You snap Jacare's arm, I don't care if he's 50 years old. That is extremely impressive. His grappling is really good from the back. He's really lanky. He's long. Stand up, okay. There's openings. Like, he doesn't always have the quickest return from firing his shots. Anders on the opposite side is a pretty solid stand-up fighter. I mean, his kickboxing's developed well. He's got a bit of power in the hands. He's an athletic guy. He comes from the football base. Wrestling defense is good. Not a guy that gets submitted. He's super hard to finish. I still feel as though Muniz is this prospect that is going to go out there and submit Eryk Anders. Almost calling him Eryk Muniz, bro. Where am I going with this? Where I really feel like I'm going is I think that Muniz is this special type of fighter on the ground that he'll submit an Eryk Anders. I feel like he taps him out. I'm thinking second round submission. And I think we're going to see the start of a potential contender in the future of Muniz. Am I jumping the gun on Muniz, man?
You're not. The issue is Anders is a physical specimen. The dude is going to be hard to get on the mat. Anders is going to try to keep this thing on the feet. He knows the opposition he's up against. Just so everybody at home understands who Muniz submitted in Jacare Souza. Jacare Souza was a gi champion and a no-gi champion. He has the respect of the entire jiu-jitsu community. Jacare Souza is a jiu-jitsu legend, right? He's fought Marcelo Garcia and all the big names in jiu-jitsu, right? He comes over to the UFC, and he's had some awesome submissions in the UFC as well. He could do it in MMA. Muniz broke his arm. He called it and then he did it. It was insane to watch. It was just bananas. Just as crazy as when Kevin Holland knocked him out off of his back. But Jacare having some trouble on the floor in MMA. Very interesting. I was so blown away by Muniz after that fight. So I can't bet against the guy. That's for sure. I would say that stylistically, Anders does have a pathway to a victory. He's sort of, you could argue, is somewhat of a bad matchup. If he has the wrestling, remember we break it down into 3. It keeps coming up today. If he has the wrestling and the striking, I could see Anders winning the fight. I'm with you. I think the biggest deficit in the 3 is the jiu-jitsu of Muniz is going to be way better than Anders. Some sort of scramble happens. He's going to catch that neck. I think he's going to submit him. I don't know what round. I'm just going to go ahead and pick him and say that Anders is not ready to get into a scramble with Muniz.
Yeah, I agree, man, because it doesn't necessarily have to be like an offensive wrestling style takedown. I could see Muniz grabbing an underhook, dropping to pull guard, similar to Paul Craig versus Jamal Hill. So
Yep.
I feel like as long as this fight's on the floor, Muniz has a serious edge. On the feet, Anders hits with power. The chin is sometimes a bit high for Muniz. He could get slept, but I think he's good enough. We're both on Muniz. I like that. You're giving me more confidence in the man. And the line is not bad here. André Muniz right now sitting at minus 135, Anders plus 125. It's not a terrible bet. What do you think about that one?
One of the better ones on the card. That's for sure. One of the better ones on the card. You know, I hesitate to bet the house because Anders does have that pathway. I don't know how the striking is going to play out. You were talking about betting live. That might be an interesting one to bet live. I would be interested to see how that first minute plays out in that feel out process on the feet. If Anders' back hits the mat, bet on Muniz. Go, throw it in there. Go, because I really believe he's going to get that sub.
Yeah, I agree, man. And the sub prop is not necessarily a bad play either. Let me quickly pull it up again. It's sitting at Muniz wins by submission plus 170. I feel like plus 170 is almost like a treat for that one because that's
for
his,
sure.
his
I
best
like
method.
that, AJ.
That's solid, man. If you're looking for a prop, not necessarily crazy odds, it's not plus 400, but likelihood that we see that Muniz submission. Good fight, man. I'm super intrigued by this one. One of the more exciting fights on the card for me, especially on the prelims.
Absolutely, man. I think that this is going to be one that where we really learn about Muniz. We're really going to learn what he has, right? I want to see more of his game, and this is going to answer a lot of questions for me. How he deals with Anders. Big spotlight for Anders too. If Anders can find a big right hand, left hook, and show us his power and show us where he's at, this is a springboard for him. Very important fight for these guys.
Agreed. Next one's interesting too. Middleweight prospect Bruno Silva takes on Jordan Wright, the Beverly Hills Ninja. Let me hear your take on this one, Mike. I got to hear your take on the Beverly Hills Ninja.
I was surprised when I saw the odds on this one. Look, Jordan Wright likes to swing a little wild on the feet. That is nerve-wracking. I don't necessarily love that he just likes to kind of, exchange because, it's probably not, Bruno Silva's probably not the best guy to just bang it out with on the feet. But if you guys look at Bruno Silva's takedown defense, hasn't really been that great, right? You could put him on the floor, and once you get him down, his ability to stand up, I mean, all due respect to him, looked really elementary to me. I really feel like there's an opportunity for Wright, if he can get on top in this fight, to be able to make something happen. And seeing those odds the way they were, how big they are for Bruno, I gotta go Wright, bro. I think Wright gets on top of him and makes something happen. With that being said, I don't see much love to these guys. I'm not talking. I just don't see these guys challenging for a title. I'm not super impressed with Bruno Silva. I'm not super impressed with Wright. But just looking at the matchup, seems pretty 50-50 to me. Those odds are not right. So I'll jump in and go Wright.
I like that one, man. That's funny. I like it a lot, bro. I like that little rhyme there. I got to say, man, I'm on the opposite side. I'm going Bruno Silva. But yeah, the odds could be closer. I mean, we haven't seen – who's he beaten? Sanchez, cut from the UFC, but decent fighter, Ultimate Fighter winner. Wellington Turman lost to Andrew Sanchez, the fight prior to losing to Bruno Silva, interestingly enough. So he's got 2 wins against back-end middleweights. Super explosive stand-up game. If you get inside, you can really halt his game. I mean, I'm kind of intrigued, though, because let's say Silva does win. Do they feed him to Alex Pereira to sell this striker versus striker fight? And then Pereira makes this man start shooting on the legs. I mean, Bruno Silva will turn into a wrestler there. I feel like Bruno's going to knock Jordan Wright out, though. I feel like Jordan is not a bad fighter. He gets a lot of shit. He's a doubted guy. At the end of the day, he's got great technique. He looks like he has an excellent karate-esque kickboxing background. I mean, he's phenomenal on the stand-up. I just think Bruno closes distance, cracks him with a right or a left, hurts him badly. We've seen him wilted in the past. And when I see guys knocked out, I like to see how they respond, right, to the punches. I don't think Jordan Wright has any fear of getting hit. But if he gets hit by a clean shot on the chin, I do think he goes down here. I'm going first or second round knockout, leaning Bruno Silva. But I'll agree that the odds in this fight are too wide, man. They're too wide. Like, we don't know enough about Silva yet. Minus 335, plus 290. There's definitely a reasonable expectation that there's a chance, right? Jordan Wright has a fighting chance. You picked him to win. So obviously there's something that exists in Jordan Wright that can make this a fight, because I do think he has the tools.
And you know what I'm seeing is a hole in Silva's game, a hole in Bruno Silva's game. You know, there is a pathway to beat him. You've seen it. You know, he's been losing fights that he's ended up winning by knockout, you know, but, you know, you could see a pathway to victory. I'm sure when Wright looks at that tape, he's going to see the same thing. And, you know, sometimes you think you're going to go out there and box with somebody, you get punched in the face. You're like, actually, I feel like grappling tonight. So the more Wright grapples with him, the better. I would like to see Wright just you know, kind of avoid exchanging, because like you said, Bruno could put you lights out. That is a possibility.
Yes. I would say stand up. I'll say I lean Bruno. Grappling on the floor, so you're leaning Wright for sure here. You like something you're seeing. Okay. And the wrestling, you would lean Wright as well. By a fair
I mean,
amount.
it's just like
I haven't seen
Bruno
enough.
Get taken down, and his stand-up game is like, you know, I'm like, what is he? Is he waiting? Does he have a phone call? He's got to, like, what's going on? I don't know. I just didn't see, you know, and I'm being critical, but I have to put that hat on. Yes. I don't see it, man. And last thing I'll say about this fight, AJ, Wright is not the perfect bad matchup. The perfect bad matchup you'd want for Bruno is that D1 wrestler who's going to slam him on his head, who's got his jiu-jitsu brown belt so he knows what he's doing and he can hold him down. That's the problem, right? Anybody from Dagestan, that's going to be a problem for Bruno. That's not Jordan. So let's be fair about that, right? If that was the case, I'd be telling you guys to open up the wallet.
Yeah, I like it, bro. I like the way you broke that one down. You were on Wright. I am on Silva. Still, fun fight nonetheless. And I do expect some good action between these two. The next fight of the night, and it's Augusto Sakai, Tai Tuivasa. I'm super intrigued to see these heavyweights go at it. Tai Tuivasa is a powerhouse. If he touches the chin, you're going down. He's got nasty low kicks. He's evolved his game. I see him getting better and better. My concern is this. Augusto Sakai is pretty well-rounded. Good forward pressure stand-up. If you look at that Overeem fight, he was out-striking Overeem at moments, and that, to me, goes a long way. In the grappling, yeah, he's going to struggle against like the superior grappling specialist. I don't think Tai Tuivasa is all that evolved on the ground yet. We've only seen majority striking from him in his past 3 fights, all quick knockout wins. Has he really improved that much on the ground? I think Augusto Sakai finds that weakness, cage control, clinch, trips, grinding display, and I think Sakai wins a decision. What do you think about this one?
Ooh, I like it. I'm on the other side. I'm doing a shoey, my friend. Let's go, Tai Tuivasa. Look, man, you broke it down beautifully, and everything you said was true. But here's the number one factor in this fight. It has nothing to do with technique. It has nothing to do. It has to do with right here. Tai Tuivasa just knocked out Greg Hardy. He's coming off of a couple back-to-back KO wins. In his head, he's the man right now. He's feeling that fire. He's got that momentum. On the other side, Sakai just got knocked out. He was just put out by Overeem, who's way past his prime. You know, he's been put out a couple times. So where is he psychologically heading into a fight with a power puncher? I think Tai Tuivasa has the confidence in this fight, and he's going to make his opponent hesitate, land that big left hook, land that big right hand, put him out. I got Tai Tuivasa by decapitation, and I'm taking a drink afterwards, but it won't be out of my shoe.
See, I am. If Tai Tuivasa pulls that off, to everybody watching live, I will be live for the fights. I'm doing a shoey, just so you know, man. If he pulls that off, I'm doing a damn shoey.
Go.
I'm on the opposite side, but as a fan, I'd much rather be doing the shoey, man. I love Tai. He's fun to watch, but I don't pick it, you know, just the fan way. I have to go with my analyst. I'm like, it's like it's just pulling me. But I will say one attribute is confidence. It's going to be sky high because 3 knockouts in a row and the way he's sleeping everybody, I get why Tai Tuivasa will be on cloud 9 right now, feeling like he's about to sleep Sakai too.
Absolutely, AJ. I think that, we break these guys down like they're sports cars, or we break them down like they're a stock.
Right.
Really, what they are just a human, right? They're just human beings. And when you go in there with some doubt in your mind, it changes everything. I mean, who's the most confident person in MMA history? Probably Conor McGregor. Look at Conor standing across from Dustin Poirier for that second fight. He had to keep drinking water. His mouth was all dry. He's looking around. He gets nervous. Everybody gets nervous, man. And when you're standing across from a power puncher like both of those men are, right? They know what the stakes are. It's the heavyweight division. One shot could put you out. I think Tai Tuivasa is coming in with that momentum, man. And then I think that's going to be the biggest factor here.
I like it. And I will say, though, I have to say, I don't think it's Conor McGregor. I think it's Khamzat Chimaev. I think he's just beyond. There's no convincing that man that he can lose, man.
Fair enough. I like that. You know why? Because Khamzat will go up and down, and Conor will too. I'm just saying that I think Khamzat might have that now. Like in 2021, Khamzat's the most confident. I like it.
Yeah, right now. But in the past, when McGregor was at featherweight, there's no man alive beating him. That's it. I agree with that.
That was the guy I was talking about. You're right. We saw, billionaire Conor. And billionaire Conor gets nervous,
Yeah, silk sheets Conor.
I'm not talking shit. I'm just
listen, man. He
calling
knows,
it like I see.
If he sees you though, man, we might both be in trouble. McGregor be chasing me down like he did Machine Gun Kelley.
His buddy all last week, man. Me and James Gallagher. James Gallagher came out to. Of course, he's going to be in the bantamweight tournament for Bellator. Shameless plug. Bantamweight tournament for Bellator is going to be badass, and James brings that type of confidence, right? So I've been around it, bro. I've been around it. I feel it. I mean, I respect it too. Look, if you're going to be a cage fighter, might as well be confident.
Yeah, facts, 100%. Now, we got to talk about the odds real quick. It's pick'ems for Tai Tuivasa and Augusto Sakai. It seems like you want to talk about the knockout for Sakai, so I got to give you what the prop would be equal to. Right now, Tai Tuivasa wins by KO plus 150. So not crazy plus money, but it is in the plus. It's in the positive.
I'm a fan. I like it, dude. I have to be honest. When I bet, which is actually not that often, I'm pretty conservative. I bet when I know, bro, I go in there and bet. I won a little money on Aldo last week, but we'll just put that to the side. When I bet, I generally am conservative about picking inside distance and rounds and whatnot. I generally go money line. That's why we got the money line show, ladies and gentlemen. But that's not a bad one. I do think the most likely way Tuivasa gets this done is boom, boom. I think that's the best shot.
Yeah, I like it. I agree with that for sure. Should be a fun fight, man. Next one, Pedro Munhoz versus Dominick Cruz. I am stoked to see these two go at it. Pedro Munhoz has a tactic that he is starting to master. Didn't show it against Aldo, but regardless, the calf kick. He worked it well on Jimmy Rivera. You look at Dominick Cruz, known for the unique movement. He's all over the place, left, right. It's just such a unique flair. He'll switch stances for a moment. He moves his head. He's not an easy guy to time. The way you slowly break him down is you got to attack the legs. We've seen it in the past. That's how guys can start slowing Dominick Cruz's game. I have a feeling Pedro Munhoz does it. Dominick Cruz's knee injuries, his long layoffs, I do believe it's going to catch up to him in this fight, and I think he loses this one. And still a hard-fought fight. I don't think he gets smoked by any means, but I do like Munhoz wins by a decision. What about you?
I got the legend, the number one pound for pound a few years ago, Dom Cruz. Listen, you hit a nail on the head there, and you should say that louder for the people in the back. The kicks of Munhoz. Jesus Christ. How am I slipping the name right now? His kicks are really good. He's got that classic style, AJ. He's got, let me put it this way. He's got the style that Dominick has trained his entire life to beat. It's this Muay Thai for MMA, real conservative, hands up, slight head movement, throw the 1-2, throw the low kick, right? Dom has seen all that stuff. Dom's going to be moving side to side on him, hitting him. I love the stylistic matchup for Cruz because I don't think he's going to have any problems in the grappling department. He doesn't really have to worry about it. And Pedro Munhoz, he has a good ground game. Pedro Munhoz is legit on the ground. I just don't think he's going to be able to use it. I think Cruz is the better wrestler, obviously moves better. A lot of lateral movement side to side. So I feel like Dom designed his style to beat Munhoz. And here's a little note. Here's a little note that I like. Dom called Munhoz versus Aldo. He was on the commentary for that fight. And when he was on the commentary, Dom said he's so durable. Because of that, Dom decision.
I like it. I like it. I like that pick, man. I feel like Dominick Cruz is going to have, if you're superstitious, maybe some negative juju at him for what he said about DC, man. Did you see that? Did you hear about that, man? He said that DC's a bad commentator. I mute him when he's on. I was like,
he
damn.
said he mutes it when DC comes on. He said he
like,
mutes
damn.
it.
Oh, well, I love DC. I find DC hilarious, man.
Brutal. All right, listen,
I feel like good.
DC said it himself, AJ. DC said it himself when he's talking to John Anik. He's like, "Oh, I don't watch all the fights or whatever."
Yeah, he don't watch much film. I don't think he does though, because like sometimes I'll be listening to what he's saying and I'm like, DC, I don't think that was the same guy, man. You're mixing him up, bro. But he's there for comedy effect. He's the former dual weight champion. He's funny as hell. We need DC. I don't care if he doesn't study it. We want his personality there, man. That's what he's there for. Call live reactions. It's not about him being the expert and analyst. I think that's more, Anik's job or, whoever else is on the desk alongside of DC, even Rogan. I mean, I definitely think Rogan probably studies it up a bit more. Still, DC's got his thing.
Commentary, brother. That's my life goal. That is what I've been doing since I was a kid. I got hired to be the XFO color commentator. Super honored for that. I just had a phone call today with the HFC to talking about commentary again. Commentary is what I love. I think that generally these commentary teams work best with a play-by-play and a color commentator. The play-by-play is John Anik. So John Anik comes in we're sponsored by crypto.com and blah, blah, blah. There's 3 minutes left. Great jab there. Really using that well. And then DC's the one who's supposed to come in with, yes, he's doubling that jab up so that he could set up the low kick, right? You start giving the analyst type stuff. So DC can just react in real time. Like DC's job is more so to tell you what he's seeing unfolding and kind of give you some, give you some idea of these tactics and the, you know what I mean? So a lot of it actually isn't studying to show up. That's more so, as you just pointed out, the play-by-play commentator. So again, guys, play-by-play commentator, color commentator, two different jobs. They work together, and that's generally how you see professional broadcasts done. With that being said, he admitted himself he doesn't do a lot of homework. He probably gets paid pretty well. DC, hit the books, bro. We like you on the mic.
He's not gonna lose. He's not gonna lose his job over. I think DC, study a bit more. Don't hire somebody to do your work and just enjoy the festivities. I want him there because supposedly they also said he was hiring somebody to take his notes for. I'm like, damn, bro.
I'll do it.
That's it.
Call
Dude,
me.
Call him up. Call up
MMA
Mike
on
Finn.
Instagram. Hit me up.
Hit him up, man. He'll do it. He's ready for it, man. I'm looking forward, though, to this Dominick Cruz-Munhoz fight. I'm not touching the betting here besides maybe fight goes the distance. But Cruz is sitting at plus 105. Munhoz minus 115. You thinking a bet on Cruz on this one?
It's not the worst idea. You did highlight something that I should also echo, which is that where is Cruz as far as his health? How do his knees feel? Is he going to be on time? Cruz is famous for saying there is no such thing as ring rust, right? Cruz has got some all-time good lines for sure. And that's one of them. So if that's true, then he should come out firing on all cylinders, but the guy's had about 100 knee surgeries. You got to wonder how he's going to feel, how he's going to look. With that being said, dude, I genuinely like the style matchup for him beyond the kicks. If Munhoz can kick that calf, just like you were talking about, very good eye, AJ, that's a good idea for him because we saw Henry Cejudo open up with a lot of kicks, and it was successful against Dominick Cruz. With that being said, Henry Cejudo is one of the greatest fighters of all time. I don't think Munhoz is at that level. I think Dominick Cruz moves around and wins a decision.
I like it. And honestly, I like the minus 185 fight goes the distance bet. I think that's a solid potential money line if you're throwing something at it, because I see it hard to finish Dominick Cruz for Pedro Munhoz. And Cruz, I see him more technically sound. I don't see him as, using big power. But, he had that crazy win against Mizugaki, I believe, back in the day. He knocked him out in like 30 seconds. So Cruz does have it in him. I don't see it here against Pedro Munhoz.
Agreed. And from Cruz's own mouth, he's like, this guy's so durable. Look, if he's durable against Jose Aldo, he's durable against Dominick Cruz.
Facts. Absolutely. I think so. Great fight. The featured prelim of the night, Josh Emmett versus Dan Ige. Woo! Mike, I want to get your take first on the Cali man. I know you know probably some of these Cali fellas out there, Josh Emmett. And what do you think about this matchup? Well, what do you think?
Look, Josh Emmett fought my boy, my man, Shane Burgos. They went to war. It was crazy. I don't know how many times I've watched that fight back, but I'll tell you what, that guy has got it right here. He was talking about it at the press conference. He's like, I got no quit in me. I'm a dog. I'm going all day, and that's true. That's true. And same thing with Dan Ige, of course. Look, I know a lot of people are going Ige. I know a lot of people think that Ige is gonna, be able to let his hands go and really have a good showing here. I think people are underestimating Emmett. I do. I did before he fought Shane, and I won't do it again. So I'm gonna go with the dog. I'm gonna go with Emmett, and I think it's a fight of the night type fight. And I think he just ekes out that decision, man. They're going to go back and forth, but Emmett's trouble to deal with. Look, if you're going to fight him, you better put him on his back, man. Put him on his back, and you'll have some success. If you're going to stand and bang with him, good luck, because that guy's got no quit. That guy hits hard. He's got ridiculous cardio, pretty damn good speed and power. Pretty impressed with him overall. The biggest X factor here, AJ, is that he's coming off of that knee surgery, right? He was it MCL, ACL, I forget. It does matter because the worse the knee surgery is, the more we have to question. So if it was ACL, and if he's been out for a long time, dude. Since then, Shane Burgos has 2 fights. He fought Edson Barbosa, and then he just fought last month. Blanking on the name.
Billy Q. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's been out for a while. Break. So. With that being an X factor, it makes me hesitant to bet. I like the dog in this fight, though.
Yeah, I got to say, he's actually, bro, just to quote you, he's actually a favorite, minus 150. The people I think are on Emmett, I think I might be the crazy one because I'm on Dan Ige, man. I feel like Dan Ige's speed could be a difference maker here. I know that it's going to be hard with Emmett. I'm kind of also going off the fact we've had 4 fights since he's been out for Dan Ige. Ige has emerged as a top talent since Josh Emmett's been away from the game. Yes. I feel like the speed edge could be a factor. Wrestling side of things, Emmett has the edge, but he doesn't shoot. I believe he has like 2 takedowns in his past 5 fights, something like that. He's not going to be looking to get the fight to the floor. I feel like we're going to see Dan Ige surprise a lot of people with his hands in this one and get a win. It's going to be hard to knock Josh Emmett out. I don't know. Maybe a counter shot KO, maybe a decision. I like Ige as an underdog. I'm going with the dog in this one, but if Josh Emmett goes out there and beats up Dan Ige, I won't really be that surprised, but I think Ige wins.
I am wrong. He is the favorite. Wow. I don't know how I got that right. You know me. I never look at the freaking odds. I took one glance at him, so my apologies. Okay. If he's the favorite, stay away from it, guys. Don't bet on this fight.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Now that you know he's the favorite, it changes your opinion on the bet. That's good. I like to hear that.
This is my opinion. Get your popcorn because these guys are going to beat the shit out of each other. That's going to be a good fight.
I'm pumped for this fight. And you're getting plus money on Ige, about plus 140. Not necessarily the safest of dog bets you can play. Value-wise is okay, but he's fighting a savage in Josh Emmett. He's on Emmett. I'm on Ige. There's definitely some risk of playing the underdog there when you're seeing my man Mike picking against me on the other side for the favorite here. Now, let's keep on running up the card. The next fight of the night, which brings us to the main card. So if you guys watching haven't smashed that like button yet, smash the hell out of that like button. Subscribe to the channel. If you are new, keep it locked in here at MMA Experts. Great Moneyline show, episode 3. Mike, I'm really glad you're here. and let's start to
Thank you,
talk.
brother. Good to be here.
Dude, of course, bro. We have to talk this fight, though, and I'm giving you the mic for it first. It's Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Raulian Paiva. What side are you on?
I liked how they were going back and forth at the press conference, dude. That was fun, man. Paiva could talk some shit. Too bad, I'm getting the translation, of course. It'd be more fun, to have them just go directly back and forth. I wish they spoke the same language. Maybe O'Malley needs to, sharpen up that Portuguese, brigado, But I think that O'Malley is too long. O'Malley, Paiva, look, he's coming up a weight class. Remember, if anything, Sugar Show could go up one. He can't go down one. Sugar Show is a freaking tower compared to these guys already. And Paiva's coming up. That was one of his advantages, is that, like, he's long. He throws those long kicks out there. He's a dynamic kid. And I just think that O'Malley is going to take that away from him, man. O'Malley being so long, so confident, so good with his boxing. And look, O'Malley's not even in his prime yet. I mean, he's just getting better. He's only getting faster. He's only getting more confident. Here's what gives me some reservations before putting the whole house down is Paiva does have good kicks. And we saw from my local guy a town over, okay, that if you kick that calf, all right, you might be able to get a finish, So, do I think that's going to happen again? I don't. I really think that O'Malley's going to let his hands go in this fight, as he does. And, when O'Malley lets his hands go, I don't see anybody in that division really banging with him, dude. I really feel like you got to get O'Malley, press him against that freaking fence, try to push him through that fence like cheese through a cheese grater, dude. Just hold him on that fence, wrestle him, take him down, make it ugly. Is Paiva the guy to do that? No. O'Malley, knockout, and I'm confident.
Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. I'm with you, bro. O'Malley knockout, man. I'm thinking in the first or second. Paiva's chin comes up. You see him rush sometimes, and he gets caught in this awkward moment where it's like his head is a little bit farther along than his hands. I see openings. A guy like O'Malley is going to crack him all day. Kyler Phillips did it, but he gassed himself out. O'Malley packs more punching power than Phillips, but he's also more precise with his punching. I see knockout second round, but we have to talk about Paiva having a threat if he attacks the low kicks, potentially wrestling. I don't feel like Sugar Sean O'Malley is unbeatable here if Paiva has the right game, but I do think he's a bit undersized. Give him 2 inches in height, this is a different fight. Size-wise, I think he gets picked apart. Knocked out second round. I am on the Sugar Show as well, baby. We on Team Sugar Show, man. I'm a believer in the hype. I'm a fan of Sean O'Malley, and I'm excited to see what he continues to do. And he's a huge favorite. Minus 275, plus 250. You playing that at minus 275?
Yes, I am. Because, look, Paiva's just not the right type of matchup. You want to get a hold of him. You want to drag him to the ground. I don't think he's got the goods to do it. And at the end of O'Malley's little fake 1-2, bop, bop, the way he's going to put those punches in there nice and loose, man, I think he's going to get a nice highlight reel. I think it's going to look like the way McGregor was smacking up Marcus Brimage in that first fight. Bop, 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 bop. I think he's going to let him have that 1-2. I think O'Malley's going to look great doing it. I actually don't think those odds are crazy enough, bro. I feel like this is at least a 5-1, So seeing those odds right there, guys, take some action on this one. This is not financial advice, by the way. I have to say it every show. This is not financial advice. I'm going to put a little money on O'Malley.
I like it. I respect it. I got to say, we're both on him. He's probably going to pull it off. To win by KO, you get plus 120. But obviously, the small, slim chance somehow he doesn't get the KO, that would be a disappointing L, man. So I understand the money line more so being the one that you'd be more appealed to touch here.
That's the way I look at it, man. Everything could go right for O'Malley. Bop, bop, he's hitting him nice, but Paiva's tough. He makes it to the decision. The fight could play out exactly as you think it's going to be, besides the actual KO might not. You know what I mean? So I don't like to take too much risk. With that being said, you're not crazy for going KO. At home, if you're thinking KO, that is a very likely scenario. And this is a matchup, make no mistake about it, that O'Malley is extremely confident in. And when O'Malley comes in confident and lets it fly, he's one of the best in the world.
Yeah, I like it, man. We're on the same side here. We're seeing the same outcome in a fight that I am very excited to see. We got to jump up to the next one. It's Kai Kara France, Cody No Love Garbrandt. I'm really interested in this fight because I'm seeing Cody Garbrandt dropping a weight class, not necessarily looking too drained from the interviews I've seen. I'm very curious to see him on the scales, though, because that's a 10 additional pounds. Does he have a glass jaw? I think Rob Font answered that, and it's a no because Rob Font wasn't able to knock him out, and Font has finishing ability. I feel like dropping a weight class could be concerning because now Cody Garbrandt loses that speed advantage that he's used to up a weight class. Kai Kara-France, pretty technical with this kickboxing, city kickboxing fighter, trains alongside Israel Adesanya. Obviously, the matchup would be interesting. The low kicks, I feel like could be something to play here on both sides. I expect low kicks from each of them actually here. The boxing side of things, power edge, Cody No Love Garbrandt. We have to give him that power edge. But I'm worried about the chin. I'm worried about Kai just being an absolute tough savage and forcing Cody into a bit of a firefight and landing the precise strike. With that being said, I'm still picking Cody Garbrandt by knockout in the second, but I'm very torn on this fight. I also wouldn't be shocked if he wrestled either. What about you?
I'm liking the dog, bro. I'm thinking Kara-France might have the goods. It's a strange matchup for Cody. I actually think Cody's going to do well against these like guys who want to take him down to the floor, just take down defense, let the hands go. I don't think Kara-France wants to do that. If Cody came out and actually decided to wrestle in this fight, I think it would go really well for him. I actually think the best thing Cody could do is make this as much of an MMA fight as possible. Throw kicks, throw elbows, throw knees, clinch up with him, take him down 1 or 2 times. Because we've seen Kara-France have trouble on the ground. That's for sure. There's a hole in his game there. He's not going to catch up to the elite guys that quickly, right? So there is a hole there. Where Kara-France shines is where Garbrandt always likes to fight, and that's right at the edge of that fire. Garbrandt likes to loop his punches. I like Kara-France coming in there a little cleaner, maybe just a little quicker. That might be all he needs, man. Look, when Cody Garbrandt beat Dominick Cruz, there was nobody who sang his praises more than me. People were asking me, who's the best boxer in MMA? I'm like, hold up. Watch this performance against Dominick Cruz and tell me this guy's head movement is not ridiculous, right? One of the best. Since then, he's shown that he likes to get sucked into firefights. He's been knocked out by TJ Dillashaw. He's had his adversity, right? So I just think Kara-France is going to exchange with him, going to find that right hand, could put him away, brother. Here's one thing that people shouldn't underestimate, and that's how tough a weight cut is on Cody Garbrandt. When you cut that much weight, you take a big right hand, your recovery might not be as good. I like Kara-France in this fight, bro. And it's sad to say because, trust me, my heart, Cody Garbrandt. My head, I got to go with city kickboxing on this one. I think I like city kickboxing, trying to figure out how to beat Garbrandt and getting it done.
I like it, man. And I talked about on this week's Best MMA Bets how I felt like very good underdog in Kai Kara-France if you potentially want to play him. I'd have a harder time playing Cody Garbrandt than Kai at this point. I'm nervous about the durability with the weight cut. I want to see how they look on the scales before I make my final real decision. But right now it's Garbrandt. Plus 120 for Kai Kara-France, minus 130 for Cody Garbrandt. Do you like the value of that underdog play? Or would you rather sit, enjoy the fight? What do you think? How confident would you say you're feeling in the dog?
I'm sitting and enjoying the fight. However, you're not crazy to put some money to action on this one. If you guys are doing a parlay or something, that's not crazy to throw Kara-France in there, really. But it's a close fight. You know, it makes sense that Garbrandt is the slight favorite. You know, the former champion, and you know, I wouldn't be shocked to see Cody win this one, especially if he uses MMA. You know, Cody Garbrandt, people don't know, but is a good wrestler. He just doesn't really use it. And you know, people in the gym have said that many times in interviews about how good his wrestling is, how complete he is, and whatnot, his background in wrestling. And the dude does not use it. In his head, he's a boxer. If he boxes with Kara-France, I think he has problems, man. And that's not to say that he can't be victorious boxing with Kara-France. I just feel like Kara-France, if he lets his hands go, if he stays quick, the city kickboxing team behind him, it's just perfect. I'm liking Kara-France in this one. If you guys are doing a parlay, consider throwing some action down.
Yeah, I like it, man. I think that Kai Kara-France has some legit chances here. If Cody Garbrandt does go out and wrestle, I'd be happy to see it. Because if you look at the wrestling against Rob Font, you saw takedowns by Cody No Love. The stand-up game, he was no match. I don't know. Maybe at 25, we see Garbrandt 2.0 and he starts wrestling everybody, going back to his roots. I think that is best case scenario, that he surprises a lot of people with his wrestling. Because, I mean, if you look at 25, until you get to the tippy top, I don't see Cody Garbrandt struggling in the wrestling department with anybody besides maybe a Brandon Moreno or Askar Askarov. That's really the only two.
Agreed. Look, the biggest skill difference in this fight is the grappling ability of Garbrandt, right? And the lack of grappling ability for Kara-France. Kara-France will have trouble later in his UFC career by getting taken down and having trouble with grappling. I mean, it's he has to have some big improvements. He needs big improvements, and I haven't seen them yet, of course. Will Cody do it, though? Or will Cody see red after he gets jabbed, start throwing this, and get laid out with a right hand? Unfortunately, I think the latter is more likely.
Yeah, I think he could go nuts here, man. Especially if he starts feeling like, oh, Kai's catching me. This guy's quick. This little man ain't beating me, bro. Because Cody Garbrandt, back in the day, he was the real fucking short fuse. We see him on Tough choking out TJ Dillashaw. Like, he was crazy, man. He's definitely calmed it down a bit. But when you hit him in the face, I can see that coming back. I could see in this fight getting crazy, getting cracked, getting knocked out. And you get plus money on Kai Kara-France. I got Garbrandt. You got Kai. But I 100% acknowledge good bet here on Kai Kara-France. Let's keep on running up the card, man. Let's get to Geoff Neal versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. This fight has me really excited. Ponzi and OG. Geoff Neal, guy on the rise. Mike, how you feeling about these two?
I have no idea, man. This is one I've been on the fence about. Look, if Neal is too patient in this fight, it could be a big problem. I mean, I'm sure we all remember him fighting Wonder Boy and like staring at it looked like paint drying. Like, what was he waiting for? So if he's waiting too much in this fight, I don't like that, because the mindset he's going to be up against is definitely an aggressive mindset. And if you listen to them at the press conference, Santiago is extremely confident. Santiago in his pre-fight interviews has just been nothing but aces as far as how he sounds mentally, as far as where his head's at coming into this fight. So I'm like right on the fence on this one. I could see Neal landing a big shot. I mean, one thing I think is that when Santiago closes distance on him, you could see Neal, and we've seen some pretty cool KOs from Neal. Maybe a knee, maybe a kick, maybe he finds something, puts it through. I could see him losing the fight up until that point, though. I'm interested to see where he's at. One of those guys where it's hard to bet on him. I don't know what version I'm going to see. For me, not betting on this one. If Neal shows up, he should be able to find a strike and get this one over with.
I'm on the same side as you, man. I think Neal can beat Santiago Ponzinibbio. The way he would beat him is he has to actually strike. He can't get caught like a deer in the headlights, not throwing anything. Ponzinibbio is going to be in his face. He's going to be pressing. The thing about Ponzinibbio, and I think you'll agree, I feel like he leaves openings in the pocket a bit. The head's on the center line, a little bit square. We saw Leach catch him with a hook that he didn't see. Geoff Neal 100% has the power to knock out Ponzinibbio. A lot of people are hype on him. He beat Miguel Baeza. I'm not saying Baeza's not a good fighter. Chaos Williams just destroyed him. That's something to note. I feel like Ponzinibbio is riding the hype of that fight, but people are forgetting he had a long layoff. He struggled with Leach and was knocked out. Neal's been on fire. He's been consistent. Even though losing fights, he's fighting high-level competition. You got Neil Magny as a loss. That's not a bad defeat. A loss to Wonder Boy is pretty fair. And I think in this fight, Neal gets it done. I do kind of lean potentially decision. I could see a stoppage too. I fear Neal being a bit gun shy. That is my biggest fear in this fight.
Hey, we're on the same exact page, brother. It's one where I'm definitely not betting. It's one of those where I have to see more from them. And that doesn't mean that Neal can't start being consistent. Rose Namajunas was in that category for me. Rose Namajunas would be hot and cold. She'd be on point and then she'd be doubting herself. It's like, how is she losing to Carla Esparza? Like, there were moments in her career where it was the exact same thing I used to say about Rose. You can't bet on her. Nowadays, you can. So Neil has the ability, right? It's just a matter of who shows up, how patient. Is he going to be doing a staring contest again? Because if that's the case, I like Ponzinibbio in this fight then. If that's the case, if that's the Neil we get, right? I think we get the Neil who pulls the trigger. I 100% agree with what you said. There are openings. Will Neil find the shot? He's got the explosive ability to do it. If I had to pick if I had to pick a way this ends, I actually could see Neil getting that TKO. It's also very likely it goes to decision. Guys, I'm staying a million miles away from this one.
Hey, bro, I respect it. I'm with you here. It'd be nerve-wracking to play Neil. I do like him at plus money, though. He is plus 120. But seeing him recently getting arrested, I don't know if I want to play with a guy that's partying and shit outside the fight game. It's not John Jones. If you're John Jones, it's a different story. Neil needs to earn his due respect before he starts going crazy, catching these DUIs. He's got to get in line. Get in line, my man, Neil. I'm picking Neil. You're picking Neil. We're both team Neil. But it's too concerning to play. And that's the honest, unfortunate truth for this featured bout of the night. Let's keep on running because we got two more fights to talk about. The co-main event, Amanda the Lioness Nunes versus Juliana Pena. I'll take it in this one because I feel like I will be shocked if you're able to be on the opposite side of me here. I think Nunes is going to run through her quickly.
Pena by knockout, obviously.
Pena?
No, come on, man. Come on, bro.
Oh my God.
We all know what's about to go down. Hey, here's something that people aren't talking about enough, all right? And let's go ahead and air. So the co-main event and main event, just some takes that people aren't considering that I want you guys at home to consider. Amanda Nunes has not fought at this weight in a minute, and it's a tough cut for her. If you remember listening to Shevchenko talk about it, Shevchenko was talking about standing in that cage with her, how big she is, how hard she hits, what a physical specimen Amanda Nunes is. It's got to be tough for her to make that weight, especially since it's been a minute. Guys, how many of you have been talking about, every time a fighter brings a baby in, you got to bet against them because their head's not in the right spot. She's got that baby. I mean, she's got a lot of stuff going on. Amanda Nunes might not put in a career performance. We might not see the best Amanda Nunes. We might see Amanda Nunes after a tough weight cut. So I'll tell you this first. I'm not touching this fight until I see weigh-ins. I want to see her get on the scale. I want to see her be confident, chug that Pedialyte, get in Juliana Pena's face, and I want to make sure that Amanda Nunes is on point. As long as Amanda Nunes shows up, Nunes kills Juliana Pena. Kills her, man. I mean, on the ground, her jiu-jitsu is significantly better. And on the feet, do I even have to talk about it? You guys know what's up on the feet. Amanda Nunes is a problem. I got Nunes putting her away and putting her away early.
Okay, I'm with you 100%. We're seeing the same fight. Honestly, this is the one fight where I could see Nunes waking up with the flu, broken rib, maybe a chest infection like Tommy Fury has, and still getting the win over Juliana Pena. 2 left feet. I don't know what Fury was saying. 1 arm, half an arm, whatever. I think that we'll see domination by Nunes. It's not even close. This is maybe the biggest mismatch we've seen in years for title fights. I'm struggling to think of another one outside of, I don't know, is it Felicia Spencer? I think Felicia Spencer was on a better run.
How about every Shevchenko fight? What are you talking about?
Okay, that's true. That's true. But I feel like Juliana Pena in this division, you know what? That is one thing, bro. I'm forgetting Shevchenko is the queen of her weight class. 115 is like the only division where you're like, oh, the champ might lose this fight. Like, this is a real fight. Whereas at 25, 35, you got the queens, and they're not getting touched. 45, the queen, not getting touched.
Good point. Good point. Look, it's the theme for today, so I'm bringing it back. There's 3 aspects. Obviously, you got to pick Nunes in the striking. Come on, people. The wrestling, AJ, I could see an argument for Pena being the better wrestler. Is it possible that Juliana Pena is a better wrestler than Amanda Nunes?
I feel like maybe accolade-wise, like in a wrestling room, but I think Nunes is just a better physical specimen that she's the better wrestler too. Even though Pena has decent wrestling, McMahon was on her with the takedowns. Granted, McMahon an Olympian in the wrestling department. I don't know, man. I just see victory for Munhoz in every department. And I think jiu-jitsu, same thing. Jermaine Durandame was able to tap out Juliana Pena. I got to be honest, I feel like this is a huge skill gap. Even Amanda Nunes not training, I still think wins this fight. That's not to hate on Pena. It's just you have the queen is here and everybody else is here. And that's really, unfortunately, how it's going at 35 and 45.
Okay. Here's what I see when I see Amanda Nunes. I see a woman who has incredible power, incredible Muay Thai, great MMA game, very solid jiu-jitsu. However, because that's her style, there is naturally an amount of risk that she takes when she strikes. When Amanda Nunes is barreling down with that big cross, when she's coming in and landing these takedowns, there's an aspect of risk that she takes. Is she going to get kneed in the face? Is she going to accidentally not move her head and get smashed with a right hand? I mean, there is like a risk that she runs, right? If you ran Amanda Nunes versus Cyborg 10 times, I guarantee you Amanda Nunes does not win all 10. Like, there are risks she takes on the feet, right? It's a matter of risk-reward ratios and what she does with it. And generally, she does fantastic. Of course, it's hard to get to Amanda Nunes. Of course, Juliana Pena is not the girl to knock her out. That's not what I'm saying. But in the wrestling department, I think Juliana had a point, which is that Amanda Nunes hasn't been tested that much off of her back. Reason why? Nobody can get her on her back. But is Juliana Pena the one who can do it? It's possible. It's possible that Juliana Pena gets there. What happens when she gets there? She probably gets armbarred. I don't know. Guys, freaking throw some money on Amanda Nunes and buy yourself some drinks because it's going to pay for it, okay? If you put like $100 down, you might get $2. I have no idea. What are the odds, AJ? Help
Dude,
us out.
it's not even worth touching. You got minus 900 at best value. There's no reason to even consider playing this line. Maybe you're like, oh, I'm confident Nunes is going to win by a submission. That's really the only decent bet you can do. It's plus 430. Nunes by knockouts minus 150. I'm not liking it. I'm not liking a play on this fight, man. I don't know. Like under 3.5 rounds, minus 255, under 2.5, minus 170. I feel like the smart side of betting would be staying off of this fight. If you got $1 million and you put it on Nunes, I mean, I don't think that's good financial advice. I think that's a stupid way to fucking freak accident. Nunes trips as she walks down, breaks her leg, fight's over, you lose $1 million. It's most likely Nunes wins 99.9% of the time, but there's still that 0.1%, which is the fight game. And honestly, that's the truth here.
Good point, and it's important to remind fans at home that this is mixed martial arts. We've seen Gabriel Gonzaga knock Crow Cop out with a head kick. We've seen Matt Serra challenge GSP for the title and knock him out. He made GSP tap out due to strikes, okay? We've seen some wild stuff in this
We've
sport.
seen Chris Curtis the other week pull up.
That possibility, right?
Yeah.
You have to reserve. Don't bet the farm. You have to reserve that possibility. And I like what you were saying there about the props. I think that it makes sense that Nunes finishes her. And so it's not crazy to throw in thinking it's going to happen in the first half of the fight. That makes sense to me. That does make sense to me. It also makes sense to me, and this is a point I was making going back and forth with somebody else I train who bets on fights, is my client who runs a Relentless Sports Consulting. Actually, I'll just give them a plug. They give out picks and whatnot, so awesome picks to go for. You can check them out on Instagram. He was telling me that he's going inside distance, and I was telling him, dude, Juliana Pena kind of likes to avoid getting into a fight. If you notice, Juliana Pena doesn't like getting punched in the face. I don't blame her. Doesn't like throwing herself into the fire too much. If that was her style, Amanda Nunes knocks her out, of course. That's not her style. I could see her hanging on to Amanda, gripping on, just losing a decision. That is fairly likely. Be careful of that being the case.
Yeah, I agree. Both of us on Nunes as expected. Let's keep on running up. The main event of the evening, Charles Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier. It's only the right thing to do to let you lead the gate on it, the guest of the show, to bring it out, bro. Give me your take. What do you want here, man? Who do you want here? Who do you have? What do you think happens?
Dustin Poirier versus Charles Oliveira. Christmas came early, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be Just a phenomenal fight. You've got two guys who took the longest roads to get to the top, and now that they're at the top, they seem to be better than ever. I think the case for Charles Oliveira is very clear. Charles Oliveira is the best submission artist in that lightweight division. The way he can find submissions on people left and right is phenomenal. Dustin Poirier, the type of guy who we were talking about throwing yourself into the fire, Dustin Poirier is all about the fire, man. Dustin Poirier loves those type of fights. He thrives in it. Go ahead and watch him and Hooker go back and forth for that 5-round absolute slugfest. That was insane. That's what Poirier likes. What is his saying? Paid in full. Paid in full. He pays it in full, man. He's just been grinding his whole life for this. I remember looking at Poirier back at those old documentaries. Do you recall that one? What was it called? Fight... there's this old documentary where you're following Dustin Poirier when he's like an amateur just turning pro, and look at where his career has gone. It has just been an insane story. What a phenomenal athlete to be a fan of. I'm a big fan. Let's talk about where their heads are at coming into this fight, okay? Charles Oliveira, big-time win streak, beats a phenomenal, long, lanky grappler in Tony Ferguson, out-grapples him, damn near breaks his arm. Then he gets short, stocky, powerhouse wrestler Michael Chandler, drops him, is able to put him away with those hooks. I think that Oliveira is on cloud 9, and his skills have never looked better. Number one thing I don't see people giving him enough credit for is his Muay Thai. His striking looks fast, sharp, on point. He's more confident in it than ever. And when I heard Mike Brown break down the fight, Mike Brown, of course being Dustin Poirier's head coach, when Dustin Poirier's head coach broke down the fight, he said that Oliveira only has one way to win, and that's by submission. Blasphemy.
That is blasphemy.
I think that Oliveira is the better striker. I think Oliveira is faster. He's longer. He's the one who's right there on the top of his prime. I think he puts his hands on Poirier, puts him away. That's a very tough thing to do, guys. Dustin Poirier has excellent recovery. You don't get a bigger heart than Dustin Poirier. I've got so much love for Mike Brown and the whole team over there, but look at what they've been dealing with. Mahmoud Sebi, big favorite, I don't know, 10-1 favorite or something, got TKO'd in Bellator. They just had Horiguchi, the freaking best karate fighter I've ever seen since Lyoto Machida was in his prime, just got knocked out cold by Sergio Pettis. Is the aura right there in camp? Is there going to be any guessing, any doubts for Poirier? As somebody as mentally tough as Poirier, we have to take him at his own word. He said after that second Conor McGregor fight, he's like, I don't like this anymore. I was nervous backstage. I didn't want to come out here and fight tonight. I was second guessing myself. Look at what happens when Conor hits him a couple times. Poirier starts throwing some funky looking punches, dude. He starts getting a little hurt, getting a little wobbly against Oliveira. But that left hook might come around and end the night. I like Charles Oliveira in this fight. I think people are riding the Poirier train because of how successful he was against McGregor. Guys, that wasn't the best version of Conor McGregor. I really think Oliveira is about to shock some people. I think he's going to look great, and I'm going to go ahead and take Charles Oliveira for my lock of the night.
Wow, I like it. Okay, so you jumped on Charles Oliveira, lock of the night. My man, I think that could happen. But I have to go against you. I have to be the other side of the coin here. I'm on Team Poirier. I think paid in full will finally be paid in full. Now, I got to say, Charles Oliveira impresses me extremely. Poirier's best chance to win this fight, patient boxing attack. Don't rush anything. Don't overcommit. Don't you dare shoot a takedown because that neck... done. Game over. Obviously, I don't think Poirier will. I think Poirier will slowly press. Oliveira will throw some flashy athletic-style kicks that you'll start to see him do it early in some of his fights. We saw that against Kevin Lee. I think that Poirier finds a way inside and does land some decent punches on Oliveira. I think that you see Oliveira fight it off. I don't see like a chinny Oliveira like back in the day get wobbled quickly. I expect some shots to land on both sides, some clinch exchanges. I think Poirier surprises us with his physical strength advantage over Charles Oliveira in the standing department, in the clinch, against the cage. If it gets to the floor, Dustin Poirier's defensive jiu-jitsu can only hold for so long. I don't care. Dustin Poirier, black belt. Charles Oliveira is nasty on the ground. I think that this fight, though, takes place a lot of the time on the feet. And I feel as though slowly but surely, Dustin Poirier breaks down Charles Oliveira. I don't think there's quit in Charles Oliveira, but we have seen it years in the past. I don't think it's a conscious thing. I think subconsciously you'll see slow breakage in favor of Dustin Poirier, all the years finally being paid in full, and new champion of the world. 3rd round TKO for Dustin Poirier. But I have to say, the opposite side of it, I respect and I understand. And I'm a fan of both guys, so to see either of them lose sucks.
Oh, yeah. How can you not love these guys, man? Very humble guys. I mean, I'm a big fan of Charles. I'm a big fan of Dustin. Absolutely. Look, I like that breakdown. I think that's got to be Poirier's game plan. Poirier's game plan has to be, this is a boxing match, and I'm going to throw some kicks in there, and we're just gonna stand in front of each other. He's got to put pressure on him. Poirier needs to have the car and drive, dude. I feel like he's got to push Oliveira back, really let his hands go. But I think that's all the problems are. They all have to be on Poirier's side. I think on Oliveira's side, he can chill. He knows if it hits the floor, it favors him. And that's been Poirier's kind of backup, right? Poirier was able to take McGregor down, which also allowed him to get some momentum going, right? Poirier's always kind of had that option. Okay, I could also take people down. I could also get there. Is he going to have that option against Oliveira? You said it yourself, and you're betting on him. No, he doesn't. So what is he then? Is he going to out-kick him and out-punch him? That is his method to victory. He has to throw kicks and punches. That's how he gets this W. I think on the ground, in the clinch, and generally just a speed advantage for Oliveira. I feel like a lot of times he's going to come through. Yes, Poirier is a tough customer. Yes, Poirier is definitely a guy who's not going to be put away, not going to quit, not going to, quit on the stool type of thing. He's going to go out there on his shield and give it all. And I think that Oliveira is just going to be too much for him, man. I'm going to go ahead and take Oliveira by submission. But, dude, because Mike Brown said that, I want to see KO. And damn, do I love Mike Brown. What a good guy. What a good human. What a great coach. But that was crazy to me. The idea that
I disagree with him so much. Like,
Oliveira has a chance to win this on the feet. I don't see it, dude. Oliveira can knock out Dustin Poirier.
Yeah, I think that it's a legit concern. On the betting side of things, I'd be very nervous to do a Poirier play. I have more confidence maybe in touching an Oliveira line. Like, as a betting man thought process, I sometimes have to think of things differently. You can look at one side of the coin, which I'm seeing, but I love hearing your side because I love to see what you're seeing too. And then it makes you really think on the line. And I'm curious what you think about this bet, Mike. It's inside the distance for Charles Oliveira. It is plus 240. What do you think about that bet? I talked about it on this week's Best MMA Bets as a potential play too.
Charles Oliveira is a born finisher. That's what this guy does. This guy finds a way to put you away. It's very hard to go all the rounds with Charles Oliveira. It looked like Tony Ferguson might not have been able to make it much longer than that, man. He really is a born finisher, and Dustin Poirier likes to bring that fire. So when you got somebody putting pressure on you, wanting to exchange with you, go back and forth with you, and then you've also got a finisher on the other side, dude, I think that's the most likely scenario, is that Oliveira finds a finish. And it doesn't have to be knockout or submission. I like that even more. Brother. I feel like those odds are a little crazy, man. The champ needs some more respect.
I agree.
Oliveira is a well-rounded finisher, and that's his game. So putting Poirier away, tall task, very doable I love this matchup for Charles Oliveira.
Yeah, I like it, bro. I'm intrigued. I mean, being on the opposite side, I still see the positives on Oliveira. So obviously this one was a tricky one for me. I would consider this one, out of all the picks of the night, one of the more coin flips on my side. I feel like at the end of the day, we're guaranteed one thing. Excitement. Oh, yeah. This is going to be a great fight. And let's talk about the possibility of Oliveira winning. And this is a crazy scenario I want you to hear for a second. You go, Oliveira wins. He then fights Justin Gaethje potentially. Islam Makhachev beats Beneil Dariush. Islam Makhachev fights against Charles Oliveira. Oliveira submits Islam Makhachev, and Khabib comes out of retirement to avenge his boy. This is a crazy, crazy three-way plan, bro.
I love it. Hey, if
Let's
that's
go.
the future, sign me up, bro. I love that. I love
I'm
that.
hoping.
Charles Oliveira is the toughest fight out there for Islam Makhachev.
Yeah, 100%. I think that Poirier struggles a lot more with Islam. That's the thing. Like, I don't know, so many fights, bro. It's one fight is this guy. Doesn't matter how he did against that guy. Styles make fights. That's why MMA math, I always say, does not work.
True. Absolutely true, brother. Yeah, I think that as far as Poirier matching up with Charles, good matchup for Charles. As far as a great wrestler matching up with Charles, he's got some solid submissions. So he's actually matching up with the top contenders pretty damn well. If you were gonna pick a bad matchup for him, I don't think that those two are the right styles. And of course, Islam Makhachev could be the best fighter in the world. It is possible, and I'm definitely like normally picking Islam to win. Right? I've actually won a little bit of money on his way up. It's pretty obvious. Then he's going to win some of these fights. I think, he's got a tough test with Beneil Dariush, of course. I point that way because that's the direction of King's MMA where Beneil trains. And he's got a tough customer ahead, but Islam might be the best in the world. Is Dustin Poirier going to present those types of problems? No, I would be much more likely to pick Islam against Oliveira as I would Poirier. And again, just like you said, it's because of the way they match up, right? There's an easier pathway for Islam to kind of hang on, dominate position, kind of do what he's been doing, which is drag people to the ground and mess them up. Poirier, on the other hand, like making a dogfight with Oliveira, dude, I like Oliveira in that type of fight.
Yeah, I love it, bro. I love the pick. I like your take, especially because if you look at the past two recent UFC main events, Dog's been winning in the main event. It's been a notable thing continuously. And now the champion of the world being the Dog, you look, champion Glover Teixeira, Dog against Jan. See, I know you don't like superstition, but superstition sometimes comes through. We got a lot of dogs coming through in the main events.
For Oliveira, 4-1 dog against Tony Ferguson. Is that right? Do you remember that one?
No, I don't. Right? I don't know if he was 4-1. I think
it wasn't that big.
I don't think he was 4-1. I don't remember.
I put money on him, bro. I won some racks on that fight, that's brother. Nice. I've been knowing about Charles Oliveira. So
yeah, I was a fan for a long time before he was even like considered good. Like back when he fought Escudero, he was nasty. Now, crazy future.
Dude, when I was in Chicago, I saw him do a hamstring slicer in like his UFC debut. Ever since then, I've been like, that guy is a freaking problem. Do you even know what a hamstring slicer is?
I'll be honest, thinking of it right now, I can't even imagine it. What does that even look like?
I've never seen it in the UFC again. I do it all the time now, bro. In the gym, I do it because I learned it from Charles. I learned it from watching Charles do it in the UFC. It's like a calf slicer, but you're the other way. So you go into a leg lace where you're in on like a heel hook. Somebody turns away from you. You roll up. Your shin is caught in between the fold of the calf and the hamstring. And you roll up and you hug their hips and you thrust your hips forward. If that made no sense, guys, go check back when Oliveira got a calf slicer. There was no calf being sliced. That's the hamstring slicer. That's dude is dynamic. One mistake with Oliveira and it's over. Poirier, as much as I love him, he's the type of guy to jump in there and make both fighters make mistakes, One mistake, one stupid boom, and Poirier shoots in, he's going to grab that neck. So I like the dynamic ability to finish for Charles Oliveira. Been a fan for a long time, and Saturday night he's going to show out, guys. Hey, AJ, I didn't hear your lock of the night, my friend. Who we got?
All right, so my money line lock of the night is going to be Randy Costa on the undercard. I think that he goes out there and gets an impressive win. I want to play something earlier in the night as my lock of the night. Towards the top, I'm getting nervous. Obviously, O'Malley, I do think gets the victory. Obviously, I'm confident in some picks towards the top. Main event, I don't know, man. I might have to play a little prop on that one with maybe the Oliveira inside the distance, seeing how confident you are in it. I want to take some of your advice and then obviously play with it. I do think there's a good shot that it could come through regardless of what side you're on. I could see it. For me, that's such a coin flip. So yeah, I'm liking Randy Costa win, potentially knockout over Tony Kelley. That is my lock of the night. And what is your official money line lock of the night, just so we can officially get it here at the end?
Yeah, my official money line lock of the night has got to be Charles Oliveira. Look, there's some good action there on Sugar Show, on Sean O'Malley. The problem is Sean just gets to be a little too much of a favorite, right? It's like just a little out there. When you put in like, okay, I'm gonna bet $100. Oh, I'm only gonna win what? Like, do I really want to risk it, right? Oliveira's a dog. Oliveira's a dog, and he's the champ. Guys, go freaking put a couple bucks down on him. This is not financial advice, okay? However, I like Charles Oliveira in this fight. I like the matchup. Guys, I've just been an MMA fan since I was 10 years old. I'm a fighter. You can't just listen to what I say and go do it. Guys, do the research yourself. Look at it. Look at the matchup. You think about it. You decide before you bet. I'm going to go with Charles Oliveira. I even like a little parlay action with O'Malley. Not a bad little bet right there, ladies and gentlemen.
I like it. I love it, actually. I think that's a fun parlay. Maybe for me, if you went Costa, maybe O'Malley too, that's a potential play. The value is not going to be as good because you're getting favorite and super favorite with Sean O'Malley. Overall, the card is going to be an absolute banger. I'm doing the Fight Companion live on Saturday for the people watching. Make sure to tune in to me on there. If Tuivasa wins, the shoey is a guarantee. If he wins by knockout. If he wins a decision, I ain't doing a shoey. Knockout, shoey. Knockout, shoey. I got the shoe ready. I don't have it in the room here. If not, I'd lift it right now. But the shoe will be ready. It will be drank out of. Not a fucking Hennessy shoey. I know some people tell me to do Henny. I'm freaking do a nice White Claw, maybe something like that. Just something casual, something easy.
Hey, we got to ask Ty if a White Claw counts, bro.
It might not.
We might have to do better than a White Claw.
We need a Happy Dad, actually. A Nelk Boy approved Happy Dad. We can deal with that one. I think that would be a fair take.
Fair take. I'm with that. Hey, I like the shoey idea, brother, especially since we picked against each other on that fight. I like the shoey, my friend. Very, very ballsy. You don't want to see me chug anything. I just cannot. It just be spilling down my face. So yeah, we're gonna keep that out. AJ, I want to see the shoe.
Yes, sir. Saturday. Come find out if it happens on the Fight Companion. I hope you guys enjoyed. Mike, before we send it off, let them know where to find you.
Of course, Mike Finch MMA on Instagram. Guys, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just type in Mike Finch. I'll pop right up, Mike Finch MMA. You guys can see my stuff. I'm going to start doing more and more videos with fighters, guys. I'm going to be running around here and trying to get more interviews. So thank you guys for checking my stuff out. Stick with us on Moneyline. We're coming at you every card. You got to love it. Mike Finch, you got AJ. Come on, man. We're breaking these things down. We're having some fun. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Much love.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. Smash that like button. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. Turn those post notifications locked in. And keep it here at MMA Experts. Don't miss a video. Thank you all so much. We'll see you all very soon. Peace, guys.